Hello everyone and welcome to NJCaliGardener family. I am your host NJ Cali, or known as NJCaliGardener, and today we're gonna talk about blueberries. Everything you need to know regarding blueberries. So come on and just take a seat and join me as we discuss how to care for blueberries. So guys, one thing you want to do is basically first get a pH tester or a pH meter. And that was Lady NJ and little NJ right back there saying hello to you guys. However, I want to tell you this right now that those two things are important because blueberries especially love acidic soil, and you want to have at least a 4.5 to a 5.5, no higher, no lower. And you can amend your soil with a soil acidifier, or I'm gonna say this wrongly, or eliminate sulfur. Okay, those are the two things you can use if you don't want to use azaleas camellia soil as an amendment with your native soil and mix it in. When you use the soil acidifier, it's going to basically take time for it to break down and allow your soil to become acidic. Okay, and with the eliminated sulfur. Now, number two, okay, let's get to number two, is picking the right variety for your location. Now, here in the Central Valley, we grow a high bush or like a southern high bush variety. It all depends on where your location is, and there are so many new varieties out there now. You have to talk to your local nursery or your big box store and see what they have. When we purchased our first blueberry bush, it came in a tree sleeve. There are different ways to purchase your blueberries in different sizes. You can get a tree sleeve, and you also get it in a 5-gallon container as well. Now you're starting to see it in these containers now, your nursery containers. All right. Now, when you see it like in the nursery containers, you're now seeing them. I'm starting to see them now, especially for the past 2 years, at the grocery stores. They starting to sell them, and they also sell them at the big box stores. Okay. One thing I do want to mention to you: if you're going to get them in this size, or this size, do not prune your blueberries. Okay, they don't need pruning until they get into at least like a 5-gallon container or larger. All right. Now we're growing our blueberries in a container. We only use azaleas camellia for one of our containers, and then the other one we mix in the azaleas with raised bed potting soil. You don't have to do that if you don't want. If you don't have to do that at all if you don't want to, but that's what we did. Now, um, what type of fertilizers you can use when it comes to blueberries? Well, you can use your fruit tree fertilizer for your blueberries, or okay, you can use a azaleas rhododendron fertilizer because they love acidic soil. Okay, and what you can do is use an all-purpose fertilizer like Ivy Organics all-purpose fertilizer and use it for your blueberries. Okay, now number 3 or 4, you can also. So guys, I apologize for the delay. My battery died, and now it's the next day, and you can see it's early morning, and the sun is right in our face here. But hopefully you can see. But I do want to mention some things about blueberries. Number 3 would be variety. Your variety, and what I mean by variety is actually about the taste. Not all blueberries taste the same. You got large blueberries, big blueberries, small blueberries. You have sweet, tart, and sweet slash tart. Okay, so you got a sweet taste, but it's still a little bit tart. All right, and then you have all different sizes of blueberries, like small, medium size, and large. Right. Um, I do want to mention this to you that you should go to a berry orchard where you can pick and choose your own berries for your home or your children. Talk to those people and ask them the varieties that are sweet, tart, and semi-sweet, semi-tart. All right, because if you pick a blueberry and you have it in the ground and then you start to get blueberries, what's gonna happen? You may not like that blueberry, and so you really want to talk to someone who is very knowledgeable, have wisdom when it comes to growing blueberries. Okay, they've been doing it for a very long time. Another thing I would say is talk to people from an online source that has some ideas who sells the blueberries, okay, as plant starts. As okay, that's another thing you can do. I would say that the varieties that we can grow here in Central Valley, there's so many of them. I'm just going to name a couple of them. That is the O'Neill, the Misty, the Sunshine Blue, which is a compact variety. You can grow very well in containers, but they have some a little bit small berries. Then you have the O'Neill, the the Jubilee, the Pink Lemonade, South Moon, and then we also have Jellybean, Sharpe, and there's so many others that I can't even name, but there's a lot of them, and every few years there's a new species that comes out, so just be mindful of that. Number 4, I believe, or 5, we're gonna talk about pruning. Okay, and when you prune, guys, please do not prune your blueberries when they're in these or they're in a tree sleeve. You want at least a 5-gallon container or more if you're gonna prune. Prune cross branching, prune damaged leaves, prune old wood. All right, that's when you prune. Do not prune your blueberries just because your blueberries do produce on new canes, and you want to be careful because you want your blueberries to mature and really focus on its root system and producing fruit for the upcoming year. Okay, very important. You do not have to feed your blueberries a lot, all right? And if you're gonna feed your blueberries, and you do not want to use the fertilizers I mentioned earlier, you can use compost and earth from castings. Very important, and you could use them both as a feeding or as a mulch, and you'll just apply them at the base as a feeding, or you apply all over as like a blanket. Uh, as a mulch, and mulching is very important, and that will be number 5 on our list. Mulching is very important. The reason why is because mulching is like a blanket to anything that you're growing in your garden. Mulching helps not only when it comes to using it as a warming blanket for the fall winter months, but also in the spring summer months when it comes to watering. Okay, it keeps the soil moist. All right, and so that's very important. I want you to know that you can use sawdust, like fine chips. All right, you don't want to use it as a dust. You want to use like the chips, but it does get wet and look soggy. So another choice you can use is pine needles or pine bark. That's a favorite when it comes to blueberries because it's acidic. Then you can also use wood chips. All right, as we have over here, and now with containers, you can use wood chips as another choice, or you can use again compost or earth from castings as a mulch. So those are some of the things you can do. Now I do want to specify to you though, from according to Oregon State University 6 years ago, they mentioned something that is very important, and that is we hear about having more than one variety, and it's true. You need more than one variety. Now, most of us hear that you need more than one variety is for the bees to pollinate blueberries. Now, we do hear a lot of people say that they're self-pollinating, maybe, but the bees do some help. Okay, the reason why you need more than one blueberry, okay, that you see back here in this section over there, is because uh, when they're mature at a certain age, they should at least produce at least 10 to 15 pounds of blueberries. All right, you heard what I said, right? According to Oregon State University, 10 to 15 pounds. This was 6 years ago. Now we have two varieties here. We may, and they are young still. And on one bush like the Misty Blue, we may get at least 3 pounds probably, or at least five, maybe. But they're not mature enough yet. So if you only have one bush, it's gonna take you a long time to really get 10 to 15 pounds, especially depending on the size of blueberry bush you purchased when you first got your blueberries. That's very important. But you at least want, when they mature, have 10 to 15 pounds of blueberries as they age. All right, 10 to 15 pounds. Another thing we want to talk about is disease very quickly. I'm gonna list it in the description, the different diseases. But one of the diseases is black spot fungus disease, and that happens when the leaves get super wet, and then it gets hot, and then you see black spots or like little linings on it. That's a disease. We have it on both of our blueberry bushes. Another thing again is pests, and there's a different amount of pests. One of them is called leaf rollers. I will also put other type of pests in the description. And then last but not least is location, and that is number one. Here in Central Valley, we hear a lot. We hear a lot about location, and we get dreaded with high temperatures in the late springs and throughout the late summer. And right now today it's going to hit 95 degrees, and we used to keep our blueberries in full sun, not no more. The reason why I learned my lesson, because the Misty Blue and the Sunshine Blue, they call for full sun, but it got damaged by too much. Even with a shade cloth, it did not help. And so we put our blueberries in full sun, partial shade, and we noticed a huge difference. So when you purchase your blueberries, make sure before you put them in the ground or even in the containers in a certain area to have them covered with a shade cloth and have a nice canopy in that location. I would say go outside and one day watch how the sun rises towards the east and then set at the west, and learn how the different timings of where the sun locates itself in your garden or in your orchard or backyard, wherever your garden is, because you don't want to put your edibles of berries and fruit trees and whatnot in a location that it's not going to like. Okay, I'm NJCaliGardener. I want to say thank you for watching. If I forgot to mention anything about blueberries when it comes to caring, I will put everything in the description. Remember, if you're going to use a soil acidifier, soil sulfate, or I'm gonna say this one wrong, a laminated sulfur, you want to do it before you plant your blueberries, okay, in the ground, or even mix it in a container with the soil amendments I mentioned earlier. You want to do it before you plant. Get a pH tester, see the levels. If it's not balanced, add a little bit more, and then leave it alone, let it rest for a couple of months, and then apply your plant in the ground or in a container. I will share more information in the description below. I'm NJCaliGardener. Thank you all for watching. Until next time, peace.